The difference between parliamentary and presidential systems is crucial for understanding global governance structures. In parliamentary systems like the United Kingdom or Canada, the chief executive, known as the Prime Minister, is elected indirectly through the Parliament. Parliaments in the Modern World, Changing Institutions by Copeland and Patterson, provides 6 valuable case studies illustrating how European parliaments have evolved over time. These adaptations shed light on how legislative bodies respond to societal changes and challenges, offering insights into the factors that influence parliamentary effectiveness and the balance of power within democratic systems. In contrast, presidential systems, such as that of the United States, feature a directly elected president who serves a fixed term and operates independently of the legislature. This separation can lead to significant challenges, especially when the president's party does not control the majority in Congress. This dynamic often results in legislative deadlock, where the president struggles to pass key initiatives. The term deadlock of democracy highlights this issue, exemplifying how both systems can face paralysis when there is a lack of cooperation between the branches of government. The coalition governments in parliamentary systems can sometimes lead to instability. When no single party achieves a majority, multiple parties must work together to form a government, which can result in a weak executive. Italy provides a notable example, where frequent coalition shifts often result in governments that last only a year or less, showcasing how divided interests can impede effective governance. Here, the Prime Minister must constantly navigate negotiations and compromises, which can stifle decisive policymaking. While it might seem that presidents hold more power due to their independence from the legislature, they also face their own set of challenges. For example, in the U.S., the president's inability to unilaterally pass laws means that cooperation with Congress is essential for implementing their agenda. When a president is met with a Congress dominated by the opposing party, their policy proposals can stall, leading to frustration and inefficiency. This illustrates that the perceived strength of a presidential system does not guarantee successful governance. It reveals a fundamental tension between the need for strong leadership and the principles of democratic accountability. In parliamentary systems, the ability to oust a prime minister through a vote of no confidence ensures that leaders remain responsive to their legislative body. Conversely, the presidential system protects the executive from political whims, which can sometimes protect vital policies from being abruptly changed. Ultimately, the effectiveness of either system hinges on the political context and the willingness of parties to collaborate for the greater good. In Germany, the concept of constructive no confidence strengthens the chancellor's position within the government. This mechanism means that when the Bundestag, Germany's lower house of parliament, votes no confidence in the chancellor's government, it cannot simply dismiss the cabinet. Instead, the Bundestag must simultaneously elect a replacement chancellor. This process ensures stability, as it requires a clear alternative leadership before any government can be ousted. For instance, this provision has only been utilized once since its introduction, in 1982, when the Free Democratic Party shifted alliances, leading to a new coalition government. This structure allows the German government to maintain continuity, avoiding the frequent changes seen in other parliamentary systems. Cohabitation in France refers to a unique political situation where the president and the prime minister come from opposing political parties. This arrangement emerged during periods of divided government, as illustrated in the cases of President François Mitterrand. In the 1986 elections, the French parliament shifted to a conservative majority, prompting Mitterrand to appoint a prime minister from the opposition. This arrangement allowed for the continuation of governance, albeit with a clear division of responsibilities. The prime minister focused on domestic issues while the president retained control over foreign policy. The term cohabitation humorously reflects this political dynamic, likening it to a couple living together despite their differences. This system exemplifies how political arrangements can adapt to the realities of electoral outcomes, ensuring that governance persists even amidst political diversity. The effectiveness of both constructive no confidence and cohabitation illustrates how different governance structures can maintain political stability while allowing for checks on executive power. In Germany, The requirement for a replacement government promotes continuity and mitigates political instability that might arise from abrupt leadership changes. Conversely, France's cohabitation reflects the necessity for compromise and collaboration across party lines, ensuring that the government can function despite divergent political mandates. Both systems emphasize the importance of strategic political maneuvering in maintaining democratic governance. Understanding the dynamics of constructive no-confidence in Germany and cohabitation in France provides insight into how different systems address the challenges of political leadership and governance. While Germany's approach fosters stability and continuity, France's framework highlights the need for flexibility and cooperation in a multi-party environment. These examples illustrate the complexity of modern democracies, showcasing how political structures can evolve to address the realities of governance in diverse and dynamic political landscapes. The trend of presidentialization in parliamentary systems refers to the increasing power and autonomy that prime ministers often assume, resembling the authority typically associated with presidents. This shift occurs particularly when prime ministers command a stable majority in parliament. With a firm grip on their party and limited fear of being ousted through a vote of no confidence, prime ministers can act decisively on policies, similar to an elected president. For instance, leaders in countries like Canada and the UK have occasionally enacted sweeping reforms without significant parliamentary opposition, thereby consolidating their power. In 1996, Israel made a notable shift in its political structure by allowing citizens to directly elect both a prime minister and a parliament, marking a significant change in governance. This direct election grants the prime minister a degree of independence and legitimacy, which can shift the balance of power in the Knesset, Israel's parliament. While this system potentially enhances stability by reducing dependency on coalition partners, it also poses challenges. The Knesset can still oust the prime minister through a no-confidence vote, creating a dynamic where the prime minister must navigate both parliamentary demands and popular sentiment. The phenomenon of presidentialization and the direct election of prime ministers in Israel highlight the evolving nature of political accountability and governance. As prime ministers begin to operate with greater autonomy, the traditional checks and balances inherent in parliamentary systems may become weakened. This shift can lead to more decisive leadership, but it also raises concerns about the erosion of democratic accountability, particularly if leaders prioritize personal agendas over collective governance. The Israeli model illustrates how direct elections can empower leaders while simultaneously complicating the relationship between the executive and legislative branches. Understanding the presidentialization of prime ministers and the implications of direct elections in Israel helps clarify the complexities of modern governance. While these changes can lead to enhanced stability and efficiency, they also challenge established norms of accountability and democratic oversight. As political systems continue to evolve, examining these trends provides valuable insights into the delicate balance between power, governance, and the will of the people. Future developments will shape how these systems adapt to changing political landscapes, ensuring ongoing relevance in democratic discourse. In contemporary parliamentary systems, elections increasingly mirror presidential elections, despite the traditional structure where voters select parties or individual candidates rather than a specific prime minister. However, voters recognize that the leader of the party receiving the most votes will likely become the next prime minister. This understanding shifts the election dynamics, making party leaders prominent figures in campaigns, akin to presidential candidates. For instance, in elections across West Europe, party chiefs often dominate advertisements and public appearances, emphasizing their personalities over party policies or ideologies. Presidents worldwide serve fixed terms, typically ranging from 4 years in the United States to 7 years in France. A key debate revolves around the optimal length of a presidential term. Critics in the U.S. argue that 4 years can be insufficient, as presidents may prioritize re-election over implementing transformative policies, resulting in a lack of bold initiatives during their first term. Consequently, they often save their most significant proposals for their second term, allowing them to be themselves. This raises questions about whether a single longer term might enable more effective governance. To address concerns about the short length of presidential terms and the resultant cautious governance, some experts propose adopting a single extended term for presidents. This could eliminate the constant campaign mentality that may inhibit a president's willingness to pursue innovative policies. For example, in some countries, leaders serve longer terms without the fear of immediate re-election, allowing them to implement their agendas more freely. Such a change might foster a political environment where presidents can focus on long-term solutions rather than short-term political survival. The ongoing debate about presidential term lengths and the evolving nature of parliamentary elections underscores significant implications for political dynamics. If parliamentary systems continue to adopt more presidential-like characteristics, the focus on individual personalities may overshadow party platforms and ideologies, potentially leading to populism. Conversely, if fixed terms for presidents evolve into longer single terms, this could empower leaders to prioritize substantive reforms over political expediency, reshaping the relationship between the electorate and their leaders. Understanding the trends in parliamentary elections and the discussions surrounding presidential term lengths reveals the complex interplay of leadership, governance, and electoral behavior. As political systems adapt to contemporary challenges, the balance between effective governance and accountability remains crucial. Observing how these changes manifest in different countries will provide valuable insights into the future of democratic institutions and their ability to respond to the needs and aspirations of citizens. Before altering the Constitution, careful consideration is vital. The experience of other countries, particularly France, highlights the potential pitfalls of lengthy presidential terms. For instance, the 7-year term in France may grant too much power to the president, creating a situation where citizens must endure unpopular decisions and potential scandals until the term concludes. This concern was particularly evident during Valéry Giscard d'Estaing's presidency from 1974 to 1981, where dissatisfaction with his administration grew over time. The president becoming overly powerful and detached is significant in any political system. In France, when President Giscard d'Estaing faced growing unpopularity, his successor, François Mitterrand, used the cohabitation strategy to navigate political tensions. By appointing Jacques Chirac as premier, Mitterrand deflected blame for economic issues while maintaining a dignified public image. This dynamic illustrates how strategic political maneuvers can shield leaders from direct accountability, potentially leading to a lack of responsiveness to citizens' needs. Leadership styles can greatly influence political stability and public perception. Mitterrand's approach allowed him to retain popularity, while Chirac faced the brunt of economic criticisms. This pattern reveals how power dynamics in parliamentary systems can enable leaders to manage their legacies effectively. By the time Chirac ran against Mitterrand in the 1988 election, Mitterrand had cultivated a favorable public image, ultimately securing re-election. The subsequent election of Chirac in 1995 showcases the cyclical nature of public sentiment influenced by previous administrations. A major concern regarding fixed presidential terms is the notion of allowing leaders to be themselves, free from electoral pressures. While this might encourage bold decision-making, it also poses the risk of reckless or imprudent policies. This concept, known as Friedrich's rule of anticipated reactions, suggests that fear of voter backlash often tempers presidential actions. Removing this incentive could lead to significant policy missteps, as evidenced by some Mexican presidents who, operating under a 6-year term, made decisions that threatened the country's economic stability.